Hello and welcome to Happier, a podcast where we talk about ways to put abstract and transcendent ideas about happiness into practical use. This week is a very special episode. Every 10th episode is a very special episode. And in honor of the five senses, because my new book, Life in Five Senses, is about to hit the shelves in April, we are featuring hacks from ourselves and listeners, all related to the five senses. I'm Gretchen Rubin, a writer who studies happiness, good habits, and the five senses. I'm in my little home office here in New York City, and joining me today from LA is my sister, Elizabeth Kraft. And Elizabeth, you and I love a hack.
That's me, Elizabeth Kraft, a TV writer and producer living in LA. And yes, Gretch, we love hacks, and our listeners always have the best hacks.
The best hacks. Okay, but before we start in, I said to listeners, because I am relentlessly talking about pre-orders. Yes, pre-order early and often. And I said, so some people wrote a haiku. Turns out people like writing limericks more than haikus. Got so many great limericks, and 3 are so excellent that I cannot resist sharing them. So these are to inspire pre-orders. So here's the first one from Lori. She wrote, "Life in five senses, she'd tell it. She could feel it, taste it, and smell it. Gretchen went on the road where she joyously showed she could not only write it, but sell it."
That's great. And then this is from Jennifer. "Gretchen's the original upholder. Her book makes the five senses bolder. Pre-order this book and you'll get the first look. Plus you'll take a big weight off her shoulder." And it says, from a fellow upholder.
That's great. I love that. And then Brenda wrote, and they all took such different twists on it,
Yes.
on the rhymes they used. Brenda wrote, "There's an author who has a new book who wants you to just take a look to see if her hardcover pleases the book lover. Pre-order for Kindle or Nook." I love these.
So good.
And thank you, Gold Star, because it's very fun for me in this time of the pre-order. Yeah, so pre-order.
Yes.
Go to my website, GretchenRubin.com. And you will find that there.
Or anywhere you buy books.
Or anywhere,
right?
anywhere you buy books, yes. Here's a fun question coming up. If you have any easy, gentle, family-style April Fool's Days ideas, please share those, especially those related to the five senses. I realized in thinking about it that most April Fool's Days jokes do involve the five senses. That's kind of how they work.
Right.
I love a good April Fool's Day family prank, and I would love some new original ideas. So send them in if you have them.
Yes. Can't wait for those.
So for this very special episode, these are hacks for tapping into the five senses. So first we'll talk about our own hacks for tapping into the five senses. Then we'll share them for listeners. And we will also highlight the hacks that listeners gave as part of the 8th anniversary Happier giveaway. So 8 people will get that giveaway gifty. So we'll talk about that first. But first, Elizabeth, let's you and I dive into our hacks for tapping into the five senses. What's one of yours?
Yeah. So Gretchen, this is something that Sarah and I actually talked about in Happier in Hollywood episode 299. It's a taste hack.
Ah, good.
Yes. And our hack that week was pick a vacation drink.
Ah.
So we're like, when you go on vacation, pick a drink. Ours was alcoholic. We picked the espresso martini, but it doesn't have to be. It could be a banana smoothie or, a
sure.
certain kind of iced tea.
Right.
And the idea is that then whenever you have this drink, you'll be taken back to that vacation the way some people pick a perfume for a vacation. We've heard that hack before.
Right.
So for the rest of my life, whenever I have an espresso martini, I'm going to think about being with Sarah on our Caribbean cruise this spring.
And maybe if you're in a hard spot and you want to kind of give yourself back into that cruise ship state of mind, you can have an espresso martini. I have a hack that's also related to memories. So remember when some high school friends and I all went on that tour of the Met? Our high school organized this for all the alums in the New York City area. And spontaneously, and I have to say, I did not even lead this where you would think, oh, of course, that's something Gretchen would try to finagle everybody into doing. Everybody started talking about the smells that we remembered. And so we were talking about the basement gym lockers had a very distinctive smell, or the dining hall had a very distinctive smell, or the library. And then that led us all into
Yes.
sort of like, well, where was the children's library and where were the more grown-up books? And it got us all really tapped into these very, very concrete memories. Things that I remembered that I'd forgotten I remembered. And it was just such a fun exercise and a way to reminisce with people.
Yeah, you saying that just made me think of the administration building
Yes.
smell.
Yes. It had a very particular smell.
Well, that's so fun. Another one, Gretchen, of mine, and this is, I guess, a seeing, listening hack, is if you're watching a new TV show and you think it's going to be something you like, but you don't love the first episode, keep watching. Watch
okay.
3 episodes. Because I was talking about on episode 302 of Happier in Hollywood how pilots are really hard because you have to get so much in and establish a world. Episode 2 is the hardest episode of any show to write because you have to retell the pilot and move the story forward. And episode 3 tends to be when you are cooking, when the show gets great. So stick around for 3 episodes if it's something that either you think you should like or everyone's telling you you'll love.
That's a great rule because it makes sense for you questioners out there. It's not just 50 pages of a book because you're like, why 50? That actually makes sense. I always hear you talking about how pilots are so hard. It makes sense that the second episode is the same problem, only worse. And then by the third episode, you're kind of in a groove. Like with Schitt's Creek, I watched the first 2 episodes and I didn't like it, but people keep saying, watch it. And maybe if I had just known to watch 3 episodes, I would have gotten into the show.
Yeah. And also the writers are finding it too.
Well, I love a bright line rule for seeing and hearing. Okay. This is a hack that I learned from a friend. I think it's hilarious. So I'm always trying to, I am a happiness bully. I love to clear other people's clutter, as you know all too well, Elizabeth. And I was at this friend of mine's house. We're going through her closet and I see this bright orange neon hideous t-shirt and I'm like, okay, well, this is very easy, you're gonna give this thing away. She's like, oh no, that's my Disney World t-shirt, and it didn't even have a Disney World logo on it. I was like, what are you talking about? So she's a single mom. She has 3 sons, and she said they all wear these matching eye-poppingly bright t-shirts whenever they go into a crowded place because it's so much easier to spot her kids if they go running off away from her. And I thought that was just a brilliant, easy way to use sight and color.
That's a great hack. And it's great that she wears one because then they can also find
Absolutely.
her.
Absolutely.
And then here's a hack, Gretchen. I guess it's for touch and listening. And it's play mahjong. So I think maybe this is if you want to enjoy those senses. Mahjong, as I've talked about many times, has these tiles that you play with.
Yes.
And they're the most satisfying objects to me in the world. The idea that the way they click together and the way they feel, which is really smooth, and they have symbols etched on the top, is just so satisfying. Way more than any card game for me or any board game. It's the tiles in Mahjong.
Oh, that's so interesting that they themselves are a source of pleasure.
Yes. And if you didn't want to play Mahjong, I would say play dominoes because it's probably very similar.
Yeah. Interesting. Okay. This is a hack where some of the listeners are going to be saying, this is such an obvious thing, it doesn't even rise to the level of a hack. And then other people are going to be like, oh, this is the greatest piece of information I've ever learned. Okay. So my daughter, Eleanor, is really bad at directions. And so she's gotten really good at using Google Maps. And when we were in Paris together last summer, I said, you navigate. I'm going to let you do it. And she did a great job. And she showed me this thing that's very, very handy if you use Google Maps. Okay, if you look at your Google Maps and you look at where you are, I had never noticed this, but there's a blue dot and then there's a beam shining in front of it, as if think of yourself holding a flashlight pointing. It's pointing the direction that you are pointing. So if you're at an intersection and you're like, do I go left or right? I don't know which way I'm pointing. This will show you which way you're pointing. And bonus that I learned when I looked this up to make sure that I understood it properly, if the beam is wide, it means that your phone doesn't have a very localized position. But if the beam is narrow, it means that it's very specific. It very specifically knows where you are. If you want your phone to have a better sense of where you are, take it and do a figure 8 a couple of times in the air, and that will help your phone get back on track and to calibrate. And so I think it's because in New York, a lot of times you come up out of the subway and you don't know what direction you're facing. And if you can't spot a landmark like the Empire State Building, it can be hard to know. And this is just turns out to be really, really handy. It's a very simple, subtle, unobtrusive way to use your sight to really help you navigate through space.
Well, I am one of those people who've never heard of this. So
Okay,
I'm
good.
Thrilled to hear about it because I also have a terrible sense of direction.
Yeah.
All right, Gretch, coming up, we will announce the winners of our 8th anniversary giveaway. But first, this break.
In honor of the 8th anniversary of the Happier podcast, we are giving away a Happier gift set to 8 people for 8 years. People submitted hacks, not related to the 5 senses, though a lot of them are, it turns out, but just great hacks. So we'll run through them quickly, and we will find you and get in touch with you for mailing addresses. But these were the great hacks from 8 listeners.
MC Light's hack is buy useful items as vacation souvenirs, like my Hawaiian Hello Kitty toothbrush, Eiffel Tower pen, and New Orleans bottle opener, so I can be frequently reminded of my happy vacation memories.
Excellent. Amanda says, identify things you've never regretted, and then if you're having an off day, do one of those things. So for me, I've never regretted taking a shower, working out, or getting my nails done. If I'm in a rut or don't know what to do with myself, those 3 things are easy fallbacks to turn any day around.
Robert says, wear appropriate shoes. Hiking and tennis shoes can be unfortunate.
So true. We've all made shoe-related mistakes and regretted it.
Yes, we have.
Sydney's hack is a callback to a hack that we talked about a long time ago. Haven't talked about it in a while, and it is one of my personal favorite hacks. She writes, we moved in 2020, and it was clear very quickly that an odd little corner of our kitchen counter was going to become a dumping ground for all the little odds and ends, extras of life, receipts, chargers, gift cards, stuff that hasn't found a home yet, etc. I ordered a large bowl and declared it the bowl of requirement. That's where this stuff lives, and it stays contained and is therefore less annoying. The nature of the bowl is that the items are removed and added in a way that makes sure that it never gets too full. So 99% of the time when we're looking for something that doesn't have a natural place, it's in the bowl.
Love it. Amul Holland says, my happiness hack as a person who tends to be late, not out of sloth, but out of busyness, is to get ready first thing in the day so that I'm ready to go instead of waiting until an hour or 20 minutes before I have to leave, and to bring with me things to do if I get there early so I don't feel like I'm wasting valuable time.
Well, research really supports this. A lot of people who are late because they're trying to get one more thing done. And if that's the source of your lateness, these are great hacks for how to combat that.
Yes.
Alice writes, my happiness hack is hiking. Whenever I can, I get out to the mountains. I'm lucky enough to be able to do that because I live close. And if I can't get to the mountains, I just walk. I have the hashtag Walk 20 and 20 challenge to thank for helping me build that great habit. So that's a great hack.
So good. And then Heidi says, spend money on experience, not things.
Good hack.
That's a sentiment that we hear a lot.
Yes, absolutely. And finally, number 8, Deb said, I love the hack of buying postcards on vacations we take and then taping the cards to the inside doors of my cabinets. It always makes me happy to remember my trips when I open the doors.
So those are great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you, everyone, for helping us to celebrate. We love a hack. And now let's go back to more 5 senses hacks.
Yes. Gretch, this comes from Claudette. She says, I love to read, but I also love to play mindless games on my phone. I thought of a hack to get me to read when I pick up my phone to scroll social media or play games. I took a picture of the book I'm reading and set it as my home screen. So now when I pick up my phone, I see the book and put down the phone and read the book. That is hilarious.
We're always looking for hacks to get for reading more because of, hashtag read 21 and 21. Robert suggested this. I'm very eager to try it. Throw orange peels in the fire. I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm very intrigued.
It sounds delightful. You just know that's going to be good.
Yes. I just need to be around a fireplace and with an orange in my hand, and then I can't wait to try that.
Yes. Erica's hack is, she says, I have a lava lamp at my work desk. Watching those blobs floating around is calming, and I enjoy the colors. That's such a good idea. I'm surprised more people don't have lava lamps on their desks.
I love a lava lamp. I think that's
a
great idea. Okay, and this was a friend told me, I haven't done this, but she says it's really fun, and I've heard from other people that it's a way to tap into your sense of sight. It's called GeoGuessr, and it's GeoGuessr with no E on the end, GeoGuessr. It's a geography game where you're dropped somewhere in the world in a street view panorama, and your mission is to find clues and guess your location on the world map. You can play by yourself and other people. You do have to be on a screen. So some people don't like,
Right.
if you're having like family time playing a game, they don't want to be behind a screen. But apparently it is very fun.
My geography is not great, Gretchen, so I guess this would be good for me to learn more geography.
I
but
think
would
it's
not
just
be good
about
at it.
really noticing details and locking in on looking for clues.
Sounds cool.
Yeah.
Jennifer says, mine are mostly touch. I've attached a piece of Velcro under my desk that I run my fingers over when I'm stressed or thinking. And I used to have a very smooth rock I picked up at the beach that I would hold and run my hands over while I talked on the phone.
Many, many people talk about having things that they touch or hold in their hands while they're at their desk, particularly in video calls. I think this is a way that people help themselves stay engaged if they don't have that. If you're with people, that gives you a certain kind of focus and energy. And I think people are using the sense of touch to help bolster that.
Their presence.
Yeah. Erica said, in regards to the five senses, I've been combining it with Outside 23 and 23. I live in sunny South Florida and I have a sunroof in my car. I often don't get outside as much as I would like, so I count the time riding around town with my sunroof open as being outside. I love sticking my hand through the roof and feeling the wind, hearing the breeze and outside noises, birds, traffic, etc. It combines this quasi-outdoor activity with some of the five senses as well. So that's good. I like that.
Yes, I love a sunroof.
Yeah.
Amy said, my sister was recently given a book on different types of cheeses, so she has started hosting cheese tastings when she has a group of people over. So since 10 of us were getting together for this family vacation, she offered to host one on the trip. She had about 10 different types of cheese organized by category, and we went sample by sample, tasting the cheese and discussing and then reading about it in her book. We all had such a good time tasting and discussing, and it was fascinating to see what cheeses everyone liked and what people picked up about the different kinds. This may sound formal or intimidating, but it was really very casual and easy to do. We had cheese tasters of all ages. The best part is how she acquired the cheeses. She explained that at Whole Foods or specialty cheese shops, there will often be a bowl of remnant pieces, too small to sell in the main section, but still perfectly good. These remnants range from $2 to $3 each, and there's usually a large assortment. So she will just buy 10 or so of these and then find them in her book and mark them for the tasting.
This is so fun. I did a couple things like this that I describe in Life in Five Senses. I had a taste party, and then I did it for myself, just like with olives and types of cheese where you just really taste. And I realized, at least for me, like I don't actually pay that much attention, really zero in. So something like this, I think, is tremendously fun. And as she said, this is a fun thing to do as a family because people of any age could participate and have fun. And it gets everybody talking and laughing. There's just something about it that's really surprisingly fun, I would say. You could do it in the office.
Yes, absolutely.
Jane says, sometimes I bring my noise-canceling headphones to sports arenas just to take a break from all the background noise. Well, that's interesting because, Elizabeth, we grew up at Arrowhead Stadium, which at least at one time was known as the loudest stadium in the United States. It may still be the loudest stadium. So I can see why, for some people, that might really, really be handy.
Totally. Yes, the din that can give you such a headache.
Yeah, it really can.
Emma said, my youngest child is autistic, and I created a calm down pack for him to help with his sensory regulation when things seem overwhelming or overstimulating. Items like headphones for when noise is too much, strong peppermints to crunch on to help with grounding, a Where's Wally book, a soft blanket, etc. I've only recently, at age 42, been diagnosed as autistic myself. But have I ever cut myself some slack or made accommodations for myself? No. Crowds of people feel overwhelming. Just hang in there. Too much background noise and sound. Just grit your teeth and deal with it. Not the best things to do. So I decided to know myself better and make a pack for myself. Small items I can keep in my handbag. Loop earplugs that turn the noise down a bit when I'm out and about and makes running errands or social situations less exhausting. Mints to help with sensory balance. A grapefruit scented hand cream. A bumpy textured ring I wear that I could rub or spin when needed. It's been a game changer. Only by knowing myself better and treating myself like I would others in the same position has this occurred. word.
This is terrific. And as she said, it's so much about knowing yourself in the sensory environment that you need and how can you address that
Yes.
for her and her son. That's great.
All right, Gretch, coming up, we'll have more five senses hacks. But first, this break.
Okay, and we're back with more hacks. Tara wrote, I'll share one that always calms and centers me. It's a breathing technique from yoga called Ujjayi breath, or also called ocean breath. It's an audible breath where you make your inhales and exhales sound like ocean waves. This breath is done in and out through the nose. The slow inhale sounds like the swelling of the ocean, and then the slow exhale is the crash of the wave. When I do it, I hear the sound of my ocean breath, feel the breath expand in my chest, belly, and then empty, and also visualize waves crashing in my head. For some extra fun, I may light a marine scented candle, so I activate my sense of smell as well. Wow, that's beautiful.
Very cool. Yeah. Perth portrait artist said, Hi, Gretchen. In your latest podcast episode, you asked for hacks using the five senses to be happier. My favorite way of doing this is to look at the sky. It seems silly or maybe no big deal, but I found that it's the one calming, beautiful thing that I can almost always access, no matter where I am and what my surroundings look like. Often before bedtime, I go outside and lay down and just look at the sky for 10 minutes, and it just gently calms my mind and also reminds me of how big the universe is and how problems in my life aren't as big as they sometimes feel. I do this during the day too, when I need a quick break from earth problems.
So this is a way to get a little transcendence into your day and get some perspective. I love that.
Yes, and I love the phrase earth problems. I'm going to adopt that.
Yeah. Joy says, I have always played the piano. The touch of the keys, the sound, and the movement soothe. And that made me realize is that you think of playing instruments as all about hearing and sound, but actually it's a very physical touch-based thing as well.
Anne said, our family has adopted your album of now concept in a way that is both connective and fun. We spend a lot of time on the road together, and since we all have different musical tastes, we could never decide what music to enjoy together. My husband came up with the idea that we should take turns choosing songs, rotating through the whole family, one song at a time. This became a fun tradition, not for the whole trip, mind you, just for an hour or so at a time. I noticed that not only did the song selections change, but I began to associate certain songs with various stages in my children's lives. This gave us a way to enjoy an experience together instead of everyone being stuck in their own AirPod world.
Amy had one that I had never heard of. She said, I recently purchased a color change LED table lamp and I turn it to different colors to suit my mood. I've never heard of such a thing.
Yeah, Jack has one of those in his room.
Oh. I want to check it out.
Sandy said, I don't typically listen to music very much other than in the car, but I've always wanted to learn more about classical music and didn't know where to begin. I have just discovered a sensory delight in the book, A Year of Wonder, Classical Music for Every Day by Clemency Burton Hill. For each day of the year, it introduces a short piece of classical music and its composer selected from a variety of time periods, genres, and geographical origins. There's a corresponding playlist on Spotify. You can read the short passage, then listen to the music selection. The author's mission is to invite anyone and everyone to enjoy this music, and her enthusiasm is contagious. It's a lovely 10 to 15 minute boost to my day and creates an atmosphere of growth. I mean, Gretchen, this is such an amazing idea.
It's such a great idea. And also, it's the atmosphere of growth, but it's also the healthy treat. Because if it's something that where you want a little boost, you could do it at the same time every day. Or maybe when you need a little lift, you're like, ooh, I'll listen to that music now. I think that's a great idea.
Yeah.
Katie wrote, I'm a preschool teacher and most 4-year-olds have sensory issues. This is probably 25% of my job, helping sensitive children feel better about their senses, using noise-canceling headphones, giving them something soft to touch or squish, playing calming music for them, giving them crunchy snacks if they don't like what's provided. Smell is not as big, rubbing their backs to help them fall asleep. Me personally, I like to light scented candles after cleaning a space. It feels more clean. Interesting.
Colette says, here is a clatter clearing hack. Spray WD-40 on all your door hinges in your home that squeak. You'll be surprised that you could ever stand that squeak noise in the first place. This literally cuts noise from your life. Reapply when the squeak comes back every few months or so.
Excellent. Clear clatter. And finally, Jen says, I have a monthly game with my grown-up sons where we we choose an unheard of or unusual food item to try. We live hours apart, so messaging and FaceTime is our main catch-up. So I thought this was just a great way to connect through taste over long distances. It's so fun.
Totally. Gretchen, you have so many more of these hacks in Life in Five Senses.
The harmonica, cornstarch, clipboard. There's so many long discussions and like deep themes, but then there's a lot of drive-by hacks too, because I do love a hack.
And Gretch, speaking of Life in Five Senses, this is where I have to tell everyone to pre-order your book.
Yes.
Pre-ordering really matters to authors. It makes a huge difference. Your publisher watches those numbers.
Yeah.
If you think you might want to order the book, and hopefully many of our listeners are planning to order the book, it really helps to order it early. And you can also order the audiobook. Isn't that right?
Yes. So many very, very kind listeners have inquired about that, which I very much appreciate how seriously you are taking the pre-orders. Yes, audiobooks count. Audiobooks count as reading, as we've talked about, like for Read 21 and 21, and audiobooks do count for pre-orders. So whatever is your fancy. You can go to happiercast.com/5senses if you want. You can read an excerpt. You can get the pre-order bonus videos. You can read about the book. It's all there. happiercast.com/5senses.
And Gretch, for anyone who is interested in the audiobook, you're reading it.
I am. Yes, I'm going in later this week to record it. It's funny. I got my list of tricky words to pronounce so I could practice in advance. It was a very, very long list. So let us know if you do try this at home and whether some of these hacks work for you and what other hacks you're following to tune into your five senses. Let us know on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, TikTok. Drop us an email at podcast@GretchenRubin.com. As always, you can go to the show notes. This is happiercast.com/420 for everything related to this episode. The resources for this week. Well, I've mentioned it before and I'm going to mention it again. If you want to learn more about the upcoming book, as well as if you want to pre-order, you can go to happiercast.com/5senses. Also there you can find the tour schedule. I am going on a book tour. So if you live in New Canaan, DC, LA, San Diego, Seattle, San Francisco, Chicago, Cincinnati, Cleveland, and of course, New York City, I'm coming your way. I'm also doing a virtual event. So if you live in a city where I am not going to, you can tune into the virtual event. That's going to be really fun. All that information is listed on my site. And Elizabeth, speaking of books, what are you reading?
Gretch, I am still reading Killers of a Certain Age by Deanna Raybourn.
And I am reading Recitatif by Toni Morrison. And that's it for this episode of Happier. Remember to try this at home. Try some of our five senses hacks. Let us know which ones you tried and if they work for you.
Thank you to our executive producer, Chuck Reed, and everyone at Cadence 13. Get in touch. Gretchen's on Instagram and TikTok at Gretchen Rubin, and I'm on Instagram at Liz Craft. Our email address is podcast@GretchenRubin.com.
And if you like the show, please be sure to tell a friend and rate, review, and follow us wherever you get your podcasts.
Until next week, I'm Elizabeth Craft.
And I'm Gretchen Rubin. Thanks for joining us. Onward and upward.
Gretch, what about Kansas City? Are you going to go to Kansas City for the book?
Kansas City is not on my schedule right now, but I'm doing something in the fall there, so I'm very excited about that.
Oh, okay. Okay, I want to come to that.